Hello, collective, to a timeless reading. You may be here because you're in search of emotional redemption. Being any zodiac sign could lead you to be here. And this is a twin flame collective insight reading. We're mostly here to read energies. For that, no, I'm Master Seventh. I read these energies, for I am a master healer. I offer remote healings and tarot insights. More information on that can be found in the description box below. And there's further details in navigating this channel and the other channel that I have as well. So use that as you may seem fit. Gender is non-specific. However, we all gravitate to feminine and masculine energies. Past, present, and future energetical timelines could also come through. Because to have such a controversial reading titled as such, it will attract various types of energies that more or less agree or disagree. To know whether you are on such path does not require a label. The label, however, was required in order to get you to fully immerse yourself with the knowledge and wisdom that emotions bring. You will have met your match when you understand you have finally won. And to win is not an achievement to a game, yet recognizing that you no longer have to fight, argue, and there's peace. And no matter which way your anxiety that reminds you of where you came from feels at home for the first time ever. And the pathway, like it might come up now because there's a very nauseating feeling coming through, is never the sign that you are on the right path, yet more so figuring out 303, how to align yourself into that which is already yours. So consider any energy rummaging through you in any form that it does become acknowledged by you, be a state of wrongness or wrongfulness. If somebody makes you feel your chest, it is your anxiety that knows a former 344 what it would like to hold on to the most in order to get itself tranquil and back to home base. It doesn't always have the chance to, so it takes the one thing that's the most available. And since you dictate your choices by many more ways and also looking at your choices, you give your two eyes that have the ability to see full control to begin a narrative of some kind. How much that narrative 422 plays a role in aligning all of that which you are with the 33 vertebrae is to swim in a violent, I'm hearing violent, inner inertia that makes you face what you feel. And only should you want to control it do then your traumas unfold. So there are ways that you could receive such quote-unquote downloads and expedite your healing process. Enter the knowledge and the proof for fact checkers that there is a science to be had in how the vibrational energies of the whole entire planet has changed. And for those of you who pay attention to the Schumann frequency, can give you immediate answers as to what you will allow yourself to be part of, or interested, or connected, or integrated with narratives of any kind. There is a longing that has been around for a very long time. That longing has been answered to. And that speaks on that the majority of you who are fixated on the label, any label, any fight to gain a label, are still, unfortunately, without you being too aware to gain a sense of responsibility about it, that you are a part of the problem still. With every power that you can make manifest, with the things that you see, the visions that you have, the spirits that come close to you, the spirits that come whispering in your name, in your face, there's a truth of some kind that has been coming up since you remember it coming into life of existence in yourself, and that may have been at the time that is the furthest timeline to what you are now, which is when you were a child. That is facts to what it means to be existential, and however 7-Eleven you are, whatever the data is to what it is that you are. And then there are controversial aspects that gets thrown out into sirens of solar telecommunication that doesn't require you to accept that the power of telepathy is real, when there is a whole niche that has been going through echelons of history, especially 744, and being an attuned Master Reiki healer, that telepathy is a thing. And that's why the method of laying the hands work. And not because of a placebo effect, but because something is just as much as you are. And once you understand that is and are is simultaneously a present, past, and future, then you will come to an alignment, 8-11, with a better understanding the all-facet ways that your memory is in charge of putting everything together. And what can make things clearer is getting closer to what you remember. Because memory is askew. Memory can create a story that has different ways of telling a story. And then it takes someone who's never heard the story to look at all the stories that seem alike and take all that is alike and find the reason what it is while it has no identity. And that's what is important as you navigate through these high vibrational energies that make you feel impossible things, that make you see impossible things, that make you feel impossible ways, that make you run to when you don't know where you're going. But you always know, 922, that you're running somewhere. And when you become aware of the breath that you have to catch up to when you feel like you're getting exhausted, is that you know you're running home. And however 2020 rings a bell, it will always give you the 2020 vision that time has been up to this very moment, and inclusive of the past, present, and future, is wrong. before all of that comes together, of the past, the present, and the future, to make sense of that, will take almost as long as how long it took to need to remember where we deterred away from to feel the need to go and run back home. 1019. That's pretty much the journey of Twin Flame. That is meeting your maker in the biological forms of how they are accessible to you. It begins there, because at that breath of life, people were responsible over you, and it was your responsibility to take accountability to prove to them what they are seemingly responsible for. That journey is met through many ways, where we face impossible things or inevitable things that dauntingly have a repetitive cycle of how exhaustive the act of the experimental ways of life can be damning to the heart. And so we transactionalize connections, whatever we seem and deem to be a connection of ours, whether it's a work, a love, a spirituality, a theology, whatever it is that we subjectify ourselves to, are just ways that we can learn more about what we need to build trust within ourselves, that we know what we know, and that we know what we know, and that because of that, there is a silent knowing that is in charge of manifesting everything that is. And those who understand that know that to go into, let's say, Master Reiki healing, and going back to what it means to have a telepathic communication with one another, and to humble yourself in speaking the truth of those words, that you understand that that is the truth, that the world has to catch up in the past, the present, and the future, for all that you know to be all there is, in the time that is off, that you want it in now. If you believe in this narrative, you believe in the story of your past life. That's inevitable, because you can't go forward into something without knowing where you come from, knowing where there is a longing for what is ahead of you. So however you dictate that definition doesn't have to or require a label, because you're the force of the inertia to answer to that which it is you give a direction to address to. Once you give yourself permission and that possibility, you accept that there is a consciousness to a human body. And that consciousness is not something that is easily understood within. Yet as the collective of humanity, we can give each other the opportunity to express more of that which it is that we are. The truest connection from which it is you're the oldest with is what keeps reminding you of what it is that you are. And however many steps it takes you to get to that full knowing is however many steps you're simultaneously away and close to that which it is that you communicate with. People, places, and things, like the 4 variables of the alchemy of it all, the element of air, the element of earth, the element of fire, the element of water, bringing it all home of the duality of that it is that they all work together, and however many 24 cycles they can meet up and meet each other across the ways. How many times they threefold of 3, 6, and 9 in and out of each other. How it matches to the second, to the hour, to the day, to the longitude and latitude, to the left and the right parts of you, to the center that's keeping it all together. From the depthness of which you don't know, to the deep up skies, because you knew the depthness of the water. That's how multifaceted everything is. And to keep you reminding of that is again the connection of that of which it is you feel the oldest with. You're just here because you want to remember the story. So, long ass intro. So, Twin Flame, I'm gonna take in some moves. Let me see how you're gonna see this. Alright, so I'm gonna say that this side, which is my physical right side, is gonna be the feminine energy. And on this side is the masculine energy, which to me physically is the left side of my body. Since we live in a world of contradiction, it works all in real time. If the messages want to be more direct, say it. As in, those would be the mutual energies. So again, this side is going to be feminine energy, this side of the screen. This side is masculine. I'm going to go first with feminine energy. It's non-gender specific. And since it's a flow of contradicting energies, always working for and against each other, see however the story unfolds for you. Feminine energy is stepping into her feminine and masculine cohesion. She's accepting the duality. She's not doing it just paying attention with one. She does it subtly because she is creator. And if you need to be exact, she is feminine creator, so making creator feminine. She gets to work, she's on her grind. She knows she has yet a story to continue writing, that she hasn't finished editing it yet. When she thinks about possibly having reconnected with the oldest story that she or he is, they remember things that make them feel nauseating. And to completely do a reset to what this feminine knows is a very challenging, it's a very challenging pursuit, because it requires for feminine energy to understand why in everything the heart is what it is. The why, it's good and bad. The how, it's good and bad. The when, it's good and bad. The what is good and bad. How. I might have repeated something. But it's the different tug of wars between every particle that the heart is bringing electricity to. Yet there is something else that's bringing electricity to the heart, and that's the mind. And then there's something else that's bringing electricity to the mind, and that's the third eye. And however you communicate with all that which it is that you come to believe is you, now it's bringing you here, is all going through and coming from the belly button. Feminine creator understands this deep within her oldest story of what it means for her to be who she is and what she can do. Masculine. Quick to speak. Whoa, yeah, look at that. Quick to speak. Ace of Swords. Both coming. Ooh, little secret here. See this? You see what I'm seeing? Coming from the sky. You want them to hold hands. It's never going to work. You need the hand to come in opposite directions from each other for them to unite halfway. And when they come around again, it's a full fucking circle, and then you have infinity. How sexy is this? 2112. That's nice. Okay. So here's the thing, collective. I showed you, seventh showed you, that of which reads the energies, what to take in. Yet remember how you're seeing this reading. I'm telling you that on this side of the screen, which is my physical right side of the body, is feminine energy. And on this side of the screen, which is the left side of my body, is the masculine side of the perspective of the reading. When I show it to you, they don't face each other. When I put them in front of me, they face each other. So, there's a tug of war. And the tug of war is to assume that two universes are split. If you've been watching the Schumann resonance over the last 4 years, you understand exactly what I'm depicting. And that is the ridding of the old and the beginning of the new. The transition of old universe and new universe. I said universe because it's a you problem. It's not an outside coming in, it's a you spinning out. And each opposing force is learning how to hold on to each other and not let go of one another while this is taking place. I do see in that many of you, meaning hearing 80%, you're going to have to assume where that is based on your own oldest story. That if you're currently under the age of ~33 and you feel like you've met your twin flame, you will be reintroduced to your twin if you haven't been together since that introduction. Feminine energy wants the truth from divine masculine. Masculine wants feminine energy just to accept her voluptuous ways. Whether or not both of them are bringing that tangibility out onto reality is part of the tug of war that's happening behind the scenes. The galactic powers. The energies that don't seem 3D, but seem absolutely incredulously fast and potent compared to what is now that we think we're in control of. So masculine is saying, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what my worth is, exactly my purpose. And the feminine is backing it up and saying, I'm still trying to heal my wounds. And however that's bringing us closer together, I'm totally cool with that. Because I can feel your love. Because it is. Look at that Sun card wanting to come through. Okay, they're leaning me to the side now. So I'm going to be pulling for masculine. This is a masculine card. Queen of Swords, yeah. They're embracing their feminine energy. That is why the connection is very loud. Yet it's also a few steps behind and trusting themselves whether or not they can really believe in themselves with that symbolism of the 11. And now that we have the 3 wands, it's like this three of wands, or 3 staffs, or 3 of swords, the contradiction to the game. The 3 of wands saying, I trust my intuition to reach back to me because I put something forth out. And the 3 of swords that admits that it's a difficult situation to be in, to say the least, if it doesn't feel absolutely daunting and painful and just utterly demolishing. Yet individually you've both got out of that. That's why it's not together. And that's the truth of the situation that is encloaking by divine feminine's energy of higher self, her oldest story, her oldest frequency, is what the divine masculine's subconscious remembers and feeds off of because of that meeting that took place. Because the real-time meeting of this in this lifetime triggered being able to subconsciously go back in a timeline and remember what that duality from long ago sees in this time simultaneously, which is the eyes of 4, one pair and another. So you have 4 viewpoints bringing it all together, which if you think about it is very important to the construct of the temple of the mind, the triangles of the pieces coming together. And that's very important for the feminine quality of the Queen of Swords to be able to dictate that knowledge for herself, non-gender specific, because this is from divine masculine message anyway. So it's talking about the creator energy, the make manifest energy, the judicial energy, being justifiable with self and others, being gratuitous, not really standing up for bullshit either, because you have to rule the kingdom. Divine masculine is understanding of that. He understands where he has been robbed of alpha masculinity, however that hits home for the vessel. And any pain that divine masculine has gone through has come through the sexual traumas through divine masculine and divine feminine in this connection. If you're feeling movement in your energies, it's to confirm that your oldest story is ringing true. How honest it is, look at that, is ringing true. This is still for divine masculine. It's ringing true. It's just a wonderful energy for divine masculine, truly. This is not zodiac sun sign specific. This is a true message for duality of, sorry. Divine masculine. True connection for divine masculine to, I feel like now we just like, I just fucked everything up, but we're just gonna push it forward because the message is good regardless, and it's gonna hit wherever divine feminine, in the categories of them all being split now, wanting to come together. And this is why it's like, wait, what is it? Is it divine masculine, divine feminine side? Which one is it? But as a reader, I'm telling you, it's landing on the left side of my grid. I couldn't find a word. And we've dedicated that to the divine masculine. So divine feminine wants to say something. Damn, she slapped that shit. 3131. Divine feminine is saying divine masculine, if you don't get your shit together. So it's very specific. Okay. So that means that's going to hit divine masculine exactly where it needs to. That's the reason why things are what they are. I don't need to explain, because that is, again, we've depicted so many viewpoints to get a certain message that to really disconnect is to literally you disconnect and you bring yourself to cahoots with the energies that make sense. That's all coming from divine feminine side, as it's like, hello, sit on your tree and fucking meditate already. It's driving me absolutely bananas. Divine feminine knows that there's a secret about divine masculine, more or less having to do with him or her power, you know, the gifts of being powerful. I mean, like, just the gifts that you have that you can offer for others, that it could be healing. And divine masculine is like, yeah, I'm such in a rose-colored glasses, which is so strange, but it's alluring for divine feminine, but at the same time, divine feminine knows about his or her ways of that divine femininity, and it doesn't require much to quickly get out of that and feel like it takes tenfold time, a lot more, to just get back in it again. So they're like, yeah, celebrate, but shit, get your shit together. Okay, like, that's that kind of energy. It's weird. My eyes are getting red a little bit. So interesting. Some of you are keeping from crying. You're not emoting. Still divine feminine. Yeah. 8 of Cups. It's making whatever struck a chord with divine masculine when he hears a message from divine feminine. It's whatever it is keeping divine feminine a bit fickle, or feeling like things are inopportunistic. Maybe even the connection, like that kind of energy. But what divine feminine is not really disclosing is that all that they're really thinking about is ways to return back to that passion as they're in reflective isolation. And they are working their ways to at least navigate how to look at their life path as to what it is now, and trekking at least not the same path back to get to where they started, to their old story, because they knew it didn't work. It won't lead them home because I left them astray. but they do want to pivot back, and that's nice. Feminine energy has some healing to do, because especially if feminine energy is in a vessel to give life, then the body, their body, and the child and the offspring naturally induce trauma to themselves because of all the chaos that happens while this takes place. And the chaos is inevitably a good chaos. So however that canal of birth comes into acceptance that it is what it is, until of nothing and into something, that all of that is accumulative to it being important, more or less, or at least in a tug of war of pros and cons, negative aspects, positive aspects, some sadness, some happiness, and a connection that's very old in a timeline of existence, communicating with each other, and what can communicate with each other becomes aware that they're becoming more aware of each other. That's the lover's energy from divine masculine energies of ether, giving the message that that's what it means to bestow masculine messages, but they come from feminine. They come from feminine. All right, so card for both. Queen of Wands. There's a person in the middle. More so connected to divine feminine. However that connects. There also could be a change of sexual interest that divine feminine is exploring. But all that, the Queen of Wands has brought another wand to the table, showing that there's 4 symbolisms of staffs of some kind. 2 is, and there's a match. I mean, there's a match for 1, there's a match for 2. 2, meaning there's 2 swords, and there's 2 wands, and it keeps them together, because this is the message that keeps them together, and the card that I haven't picked up yet is that divine masculine side has the 2 ladies. He sees that a person is in the way, in a distance, and is also pushing by that subconsciously divine feminine to make a decision, and that comes at costly consequences that can change from week to week or even monthly basis, that is giving mixed signals to divine masculine, who is just trying to calm the excitement of what he knows by being just as ignorant as divine feminine. Yeah, look at that, all the moon energy on the floor to bring it all home of what was just spoken to, because there's still things that need to be brought together to go into the final canal here, the 2 pillars to bring you two together. There's an old story here with the Scorpio here energy coming through here for me. There's a Cancerian energy to calm the pros and cons of the tug of war of what life, trekking on earth energy, experimenting and experiencing earth is getting the way wanting to, being on different pathways, different different likenesses, different interests. Cancerian energy is trying to bring that home. Then I'm seeing a Virgo energy trying to reason it all by being that femininity coming from the galactic powers. And then I see the ancient Egyptian gods coming through the sun, even Greek energies coming through the sun, but it's definitely coming from an old sense of a timeline. It's old, however you see old to be far away from you. And all perspective is one-sided, because quantifiably with science that you can fact check to this reality of this dimension is that you can only physically see with two eyes of yourselves, one from the left, one from the right, one side of the moon. But imagine if you were to cross your eyes and get in touch with your third eye, because this gives you and can give you a third eye perspective, just a zoomed in version of it. So there's the moon wanting to communicate, is communication with the light that's in the background, connecting you all through that energy that's giving birth to feminine, masculine energies. With that, it's also addressing that divine masculine is surrounded with the joys of life, wanting to dance, taking the road taking the road less traveled approach, where divine feminine is taking the more hands-on approach. And seemingly with that noise is not working. It's pissing both of you off, but in different ways. I'm getting more for the moon energy. Because what can you do if you want to bring it to light? Do you want to? Oh, you do. You do want to bring it to the light. That's nice. Divine masculine wants to have this jubilee of fun with his or her divine feminine. And divine feminine is saying, I'm working my ass off to get myself over there. I just don't know what I'm looking at. And then I see what I'm looking at and I'm like overwhelmed, because it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. But the divine masculine is also hinting, I got you. I got you. But there's a secret to both sides. And the secret is that there are so many things around them at this time. And it can start with a person. And it can be many things of objects. It can be it's just too much energy around to make the connection of communication a bit clearer and exactly how to wrap things up. All right. And with that, I'm being told to wrap things up. I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether at this time and space. Ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between and beyond. And may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.